John Gaydosh singing the motor a little bit. The MB Auto logoed machine for the racer out of Baltimore, Maryland. And Richie's turning into the guy that just shows up randomly from time to time.
Yeah, I mean, we expect to see him in places like Houston because that's where he's from. I can't say I expected to see his name pop up in the entry list here in New England. Certainly very happy to have him. The VitusCShot.com Chevy Camaro backing its way up. And John Gaydosh, an East Coast guy, I certainly expected him to be here.
So we're going to get a pretty good reading on the racetrack coming in right out of the box. For those of you who may not be familiar with practices and procedures in the NHRA, the run order for this first qualifying session is set simply by points. So the people that run all the races, that have won races, that have had a lot of points, people that, like say if your name's Greg, you're going to be at the back of the pack. If your name's Erica, you're going to be back there. Dallas is going to be back there. The part-time racers and those that don't come out on a full-time basis get to go first or have to go first, depending on how you look at it. And we're live on Facebook? We're live on Facebook? Hi, Facebook. They can see me right?
I think they can. They totally can.
Okay. Now, from this point forward, you get to earn your spot. So you make a good run here, and you earn your spot a little bit further back. See, that guy can see me. He's waving.
Yeah.
You like me better than Brian, right?
Okay. That's Dave.
Oh,
that's Dave. He didn't like
wait,
you.
I got a one thumbs up and one, wag finger. So far, we split the vote right down the middle.
I know these people.
Oh, then they definitely like me more than they like you. All right, a couple of blue cars going to kick us off here with Pro Stock qualifying. Let's see if we can start on a high note. That wasn't a high note. That's not too bad. 667, 209.26 for the kid. Rattled the tire a little bit off the starting line. That shows up in the 60-foot clock. But Gaydosh just knocked the tire off of when he dropped the clutch. That run was over very, very early.
Yeah, and even though we don't see Richie Stevens as often as we'd love to see him, his experience shows there. He did not overdrive the car. He hung with a run. It did drive through some tire shake. But a little bit surprising to see a 67 at 209. Certainly a number that's going to get kicked pretty far down the order by the time we get out of this thing. But for the early struggles of that car, it certainly shows what might be out there for horsepower as Bob Benza and Alan Prusiensky come up. New York and New Jersey represented.
Bob Benza driving the Elite. What do you call it? The Fleet loaner car, maybe.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, let's see. We're 4 Pro Stock races into the year, right?
Yeah.
And that car's had 4 different drivers, right?
Yeah, there are rental cars at the Manchester airport that have had less people behind the wheel than this Pro Stock car has had.
I think the rental car I got from Boston probably had less people. But Bruno's driven the car.
Yep. Vincent Nobile.
Vincent Nobile took the thing to the final.
Aaron Strong.
And
now Bob.
Yeah. Who's next, me or you?
Oh, trust me, I know it ain't going to be me.
You don't want to drive one?
Listen, man, I could barely walk and chew gum at the same time. I do a good enough job humiliating myself with a microphone in front of a group of people, let alone behind a steering wheel.
Alan Prusiensky, ARC Engines, his biz, ecarmover.com. If you've got a car in the wrong place, you can give them a call, and they will get it to the right place. And I don't mean like you need one towed across town. I mean like you bought one at the Barrett-Jackson auction. You need to know how to get it home. Give the guys at eCarMover a call, and they'll make it. And one of the great things, their drop-down menu when you go to ecarmover.com, how did you hear about us? And one of the options is NHRA. So make sure you give them the credit for being out here with us.
So Prusiensky sat out the last one, did not race in Houston, said they needed to take time with their program, which is important to get some momentum back under their sails again. And Bob Benza has been a part of the Pro Stock category off and on for a very long time now, and certainly in a good piece of equipment there. Bruno ran in the high 650s with this car down in Houston.
Wow, and Benza's out of control. Prusiensky drifting towards the center line, but he hangs with it, 665, and a whole lot of smoke down there in the shutdown area. Remember what I said earlier, you do not want to let the smoke escape. If the smoke escapes, bad things are happening, and the smoke has escaped. Bad things are happening.
207.98 the speed, telling me that it probably was eating itself up, obviously, as it was getting down there close to the finish line. And Prusiensky has gotten that car pulled over, but with that much smoke post-finish line, there's normally only one answer to that question, and it's not a good one.
Yeah. And especially for a team, as you mentioned, they sat out the last race, wanted to go back to the engine shop, wanted to do some work on their horsepower, and you go back, you think you make gains, you think you've made progress, and you want to come back out here and and show what you got, and that's just not a good way to start.
You know, we saw Bob Benza's car shake the tires really hard there on the left-hand side of the racetrack, and we actually talked to a racer earlier this afternoon who came into the tower. Scott Hall stopped in and checked in with us, had a conversation with him, and this was before with the scrape and everything else, and he shook the tires in his top dragster. He said it was tight, tighter than he thought it was going to be out there.
Yeah, and there's a few different things you can go to if you've got to attack a problem like that. Obviously, you can change the power level on the start. You can change the RPM at the start. You can change gear ratio in a Pro Stock car, not when you get up here, but you've got to make the arrangement for that back in the pits. But also, tire pressure is critical. There's a lot of times when like a tenth or 2/10 of a pound of tire pressure is the difference between a car going and a car not going.
So you can see the safety safari has responded down there to Alan Prusiensky's car. He was obviously in no imminent danger, but he did the thing that professional racers do and professional level sportsman racers do. When you know there's a problem, you get the thing pulled over as quickly as possible to minimize any cleanup we may need to do. There is a lot of engine containment on these particular cars to prevent anything from making it to the racetrack. We're going to find out if there is anything to clean up here momentarily from the safety safari. There is nothing to clean up, as we are hearing that the car may actually be locked up down there.
Yeah, Alan Prusiensky, you could see him up there momentarily on the screen. It was kind of rolling up the parachute, and even he looked like he's going, what happened there?
And you saw the skid marks to where the car ended up, and they were getting reports that the thing was locked up like a drum at the top end. Joe Costello adding the third man into the broadcast team. Joe came in this afternoon. Sir, how you doing?
I am great, Brian. I'm down here on the starting line with Erica Enders. Everybody, we got Erica. Erica, last time we were here, I think you made the final round. What do you remember of that?
I'd rather reflect on 17, if you don't mind.
Let's reflect on the year 2017. What kind of good memories happened right here at New England Dragway?
I'm just kidding. 17 was an excellent race for us here at Epping. I love this track. I love that it's nostalgic, and it has such a cool feel when you roll in the gates. But that was our first trip to the winner's circle since we won the 2015 championship, because we drove a Dodge in 16 and we really sucked. So it was nice to park it back in the winner's circle for the first time here at Epping. We made the final round against Chris McGaha in 18. I went red, unfortunately, but we missed 19 and 20 here, so we're really happy to be back.
What has it been like out there in the pit area, these fans? I can tell you my experience, they're so happy to have NHRA drag racing back. What has it been like for you?
It's been awesome. I've spent a lot of time out there with the fans. There were two little girl junior dragster drivers that I got to meet today. One's name was Erica and one is Olivia. So I'm going to come stage them on Sunday, but it's really neat to see it all come full circle. I remember when I was that little kid at the ropes, and I always asked Tony Schumacher to come stage me on Sundays. But aside from that, the fans are excellent. It's really cool to see all of the love for Pro Stock up here in the Northeast.
Now the weather, though, very cold, very crisp. What kind of numbers do you think we're going to see?
I think we'll see some pretty stout numbers. We left Oklahoma yesterday, and it was in the 90s, so this is a nice break.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Erica Enders, she's back, baby.
My favorite Enders. She is.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you kept a ranking.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Everybody does.
Everybody does. Hey, we got a second here as we're getting Alan's car moved out the top end, and Prusiensky's car, not Reinhardt's. We've already had that one towed earlier. Make sure you tell your friends we're live on Facebook. Jump on your phone, share it, share the link, tell people to tune in and check out Pro Stock qualifying. We got Nitro cars coming up next, and I believe we have some motion happening down there at the top end, so we'll be back at it here with Val Smeeland and Kenny Delco. Pair of teammates really coming up next.
They will be up next, and Okovision's up now.
Parts unknown. Hey, the price is right. Are those factory parts? Whoa, I don't know!
Don't buy unknown parts. At Tasker Parts, we know nothing fits like a factory part. Order factory parts from anywhere at any time at TaskerParts.com. Factory parts fast.
From sunrise to sunset, the new Honda Talon 1000s offer performance and fun for up to 4 passengers. Make that sunrise to sunrise. This is the side-by-side your family has been waiting for. More proof than ever that life is better side by side.
What made you fall in love with your car? The chrome? The smell of gasoline and old vinyl? Whatever it was, we're glad it happened. Let Summit Racing help keep your ride on the road with performance upgrades and factory restoration parts. Plus, the tools and expert advice to put it all together. SummitRacing.com.
Let's say your coolant is like my Pink Funny car. It has a job to do, to get from here to there. Over time, your radiator could become clogged up, full of nasty corrosion and scale that keeps it from flowing like it should. Cue the zombies! These zombies are like corrosion and scale, and they can definitely create a problem for you. The new Peak Antifreeze and Coolant formula has 10 times more scale-fighting inhibitors and works like this. Now that's more like it.
New Peak Antifreeze and Coolant, now with 10 times more scale-fighting inhibitors and superior lifetime protection. Try and top it.
It's a shop on wheels, a rolling office, your home on the road. That's why your racing trailer should be the perfect fit for the way you work. Pegasus Race Trailers has been manufacturing custom full-size transporters for some of the NHRA's biggest teams since 1999. Each trailer is built from the ground up to your exact specifications at our facility in Sandusky, Ohio at factory direct prices. Visit us online or give us a call for more information. Pegasus Race Trailers, the official trailer of the NHRA.
About great runs, and when they need a partner that has to have a great run every time, they turn to Buffalo Turbine. Buffalo Turbine offers a full line of blowers, sprayers, dust control, and odor control equipment. Every Buffalo Turbine is manufactured in the USA. See the full line of products at buffaloturbine.com.
You know what works? FVP Platinum batteries work. They're built to start, period. FVP, preferred battery of the NHRA.
Are you passionate about motorsports? Are you looking for a career in motorsports? And he loses on a hole shot. Erica Enders is your 2020 Pro Stock World Champion.
I gotta give a lot of credit to my team. I love this life I get to live.
An NHRA launch motorsports careers is what you've been looking for. Find the job you've been dreaming of today with the help of the NHRA. Go to NHRA.com/launch today and get on board. The Jegs All-Stars, the best of the best in NHRA Lucas Oil sportsman racing. A showdown at the Big Go in Indy with the best racers in each division meeting in head-to-head competition. Champions go home with their share of a purse in excess of over $100,000 and a shot at the Jegs Double Up on Sunday. The defending team champions are the West Central and Eastern region, along with these individual Jegs All-Stars champions. Jackie Frick, top alcohol dragster. Ray Drew, top alcohol funny car. Craig Bourgeois, comp eliminator. Kyle Rizzoli, super stock. Slate Cummings, stock eliminator. Trevor Larson, Super Comp. Jeremy Mason,
Super Gas. Christopher Thies, Super Street. Cody Weber, Top Dragster. Alan Firestone, Top Sportsman. They'll all be back in Indianapolis in 2021 to defend their titles against the next batch of Jegs All-Stars.
Hey, Brian, want to hear something funny?
I'd love to.
I got a text from Greg Enders. Said he thought he was my favorite.
Well, bad news, Greg.
He's not even in the top 40. I'm kidding, Greg. You made the top 40. All right, top end of the racetrack cleared off, and Val Smeland and Kenny Delco getting ready to roll out here now. We'll see if Val can solve the puzzle that so far is the left lane. Also noted, did you see this from the cute department, the O'Reilly lane?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
At one point today in our tiny timing tower here, Trish, who was our clock operator, decided to start singing that. But when you're at a drag strip and someone in the tower starts saying, oh, 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 you get nervous. Thankfully, nothing bad was happening, and she was just feeling musical. Val Smeland, left-hand side of the drag strip. Both cars wearing the KD Racing, Kenny Delco Racing colors. Coffee by Artisan, JCM, DBS, the sponsors for Smeland.
Happy birthday, Lizzie.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I always claim that I do not do shout-outs unless you write it on the back window of a Pro Stock car. And the back window of Kenny Delco's Pro Stock car says, Happy B-Day, Lizzie.
Right above the Corral Boots logo, so maybe we know what she wants for her birthday.
Yeah, I was actually a little surprised that the Quadra family not here this weekend.
Yeah, I know that there was, I guess, some injury done to the primary engine for Fernando's car, and they decided to spend the time on the dyno getting themselves back into shape for Norwalk, Ohio in just a couple of weeks.
I kind of figured this being sort of Iconio country that they'd want to come up here and bring the whole fleet. Well, we've got the two Artisan Coffee, KD Racing Machines, Val and Kenny Delco. The real question, of course, is the left lane right now. So far, nobody's gotten cleanly into second gear. See Jim Yates down there working with the team. His son Jamie also on board. Not a whole lot of guys have got more chassis, clutch, gear tuning experience than Jim Yates for all the years that he's been out here working it. Well, Kenny Delco just proved that you can take the tire off in the right lane as well. 6.603 at 209. Late parachute down there for Val Smeland, but it does finally blossom. Over there on the O'Reilly side of the racetrack, Val goes right straight to the top spot. So ain't nothing wrong with that lane if you got your car right. And we got an 1141, 86 miles an hour. But, man, I'm telling you, when Kenny dropped the clutch, that thing blew the tire off.
It was, and there is some cursory look over there on Smeland's side. It was trying to shake the tire underneath Val. He just kind of gritted his teeth and kept his foot down and was able to drive through it by the time he got to the Christmas tree. But, yeah, Kenny's car got itself way out of shape and was headed almost right to the 330 block by the time he got it lined back up again.
So that'll bring up Chris McGahey and Troy Coughlin Jr. Want to send our best wishes to Lester McGahey. Went through a bout of the nasty COVID-19, but if you follow them on social media, they're back at the house, back in the shop, and back to work. And good to see him feeling a little bit better, getting back on his feet. The Harlow Salmons of Odessa Southwest Performance Team. And Troy Coughlin, of course, taking over the car that his uncle, Jeg, vacated. So familiar, the yellow and black for Jegs.com out here on the NHRA Tour.
You know, two guys right now. Troy Jr. is 9th in the points. McGahey, Chris is 10th. Mason McGahey, we'll see in a little while, is faring better so far. But I think a little bit of frustration starting to set in on both sides. And Chris McGahey has won this race before and certainly capable of doing it again. You mentioned it a lot, Alan, that Chris McGahey has just consistently run into the wrong people at the wrong time in the early rounds so far this year.
Chris McGahey made history when he won this race. Do you remember that?
Well, I remember it was a pretty far fall uphill all weekend.
It was the first time in the history of NHRA Pro Stock that a guy won the race with the slowest car in all four of his elimination rounds. He won two of them via the red light and two of them via the hole shot. But all four of his round wins, he was actually slower than the car in the other lane and still ended up leaving the day with the trophy.
Yeah, and listen, at this point, he'll take him any way you can get him.
Yeah, if there's ever living proof that, hey, when it's your day, right? McGahey left, Coughlin right. That thing didn't go a foot. That thing went to the top, 6.589, 209.72. Troy Coughlin Jr. goes right to the top. And just moments after Val Smeland went 660 over there on the O'Reilly side of the racetrack to get to the top spot. McGahe's car, I mean, I'm not sure that thing hit the wheelie bar before it knocked the tire off of it.
It certainly didn't look like it to me. Yeah, it just barely even got half a rotation before it busted loose and started squaring up underneath itself. Troy's run sub 1 second, 60-foot time. He was 989 to 60 feet, 440 or 424 to the 8th mile at 166, and a nice clean pull there.
You know, I certainly could be wrong, and I have been about 1,000,006 times. But for McGahe, that didn't look like we missed it. I mean, it looked like something just wasn't right. Let's take another look at that on our NHRA.TV instant replay.
That was Troy making his clean lick down the right-hand side of the drag strip.
No, I'm sorry. I thought we were going to get an opportunity to see what happened to McGahe, and yeah, from that far away, it's almost impossible to tell. Troy Coughlin, however, sitting in the number 1 spot right now is Kyle Koretsky and Dallas Glenn gets to take their crack at it. Koretsky, the Lucas Oil Red, White, and Blue Star Spangled Machine, of course, Captain Chaos from this part of the country. And this is Kid Chaos, Nitro Fish, KPK, and Dallas Glenn, who has already found the winner's circle and turned that first career win into a contract extension that now runs through the end of the year.
Yeah, Rad Torque System stepped up. They literally called him and said, keep going. We're going to do X amount of races, but you've proven yourself so capable here. Keep racing as long and as far and as fast as you can. Dallas certainly in the discussion for Rookie of the Year very early on in this season. And Kyle Koretsky made a good step in the right direction in Houston, Texas. It had been first and second round frustration for Koretsky all the way up until Houston made a semifinal round there, and it did seem to be a moment where the Lucas Oil Nitro Fish Camaro turned a corner.
Well, of course, one of the big battles in Pro Stock over the course of the last few years has been the battle of the engine builders with KB Racing, Elite Motorsports, of course, Southwest Performance, that's Team McGahe, and Frank Iaconio. And right now, as we've seen this year, it looks like KB seems to have found a little bit of an advantage, especially with Greg's car.
They really, yeah, they have, and I think the trickle-down effect that is you got a driver like Derek Kramer making final rounds now. You got, of course, Matt Hartford winning last weekend, but everybody's got capable horsepower, but Greg has definitely had the King Kong version.
Number 1 qualifier right now, 6:58, and that is Troy. Crazy. 6.554, 210 miles an hour, and no parachute for Dallas Glenn. Dallas is trying to lock that baby down up at the top end, and the sand trap is coming in a hurry.
Got it.
Yeah,
made the
piece
turn.
Of cake. I think that thing's going to need some new front tires.
I think the brakes on that thing are about half the surface of the sun temperature right now, but he got it stopped. That was a good piece of driving by Dallas.
Looks like we're going to have to go retrieve Kyle Koretsky as he comes coasting to a stop about 660 feet. Let's dive down to the top end of the racetrack. I do believe Troy Coughlin is standing by. TJ, what's happening, man?
Doing great. Just having a nice little evening here at New England Dragway, enjoying our time.
We got him. We just got him on the audio.
Okay, I'm sorry. We lost the audio. Not a bad-looking run, TJ. Some of the guys kind of struggling with the racetrack a little bit. Yours didn't look too bad.
You know, we got a great group in Elite Motorsports. They really lead this Jegs.com Camaro in such a great direction. So people really make this thing possible. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to have such a great group behind me. So I got a lot of faith.
How quick do you think somebody can go out there this evening? So far, we've seen a 6:55, 210 miles an hour. Is there more left?
I think so. I think we're just kind of getting started. So I think tomorrow is going to be an even better day for the yellow car, and I'm excited. I wish we had a couple more laps tonight.
Yeah, I think we all wish we had a couple more laps tonight, but it's going to be pretty fast all weekend long. Let's talk just a little bit about your expectations for this weekend, Troy. I don't want to say there's any frustration right now, but I think we're all looking at this car knowing that 9th in the points isn't where you want to be, and there's certainly some ability to move up this weekend. I think you still have to have a lot of confidence in these guys, right?
I have all the confidence in the world in these guys. I don't really, as far as expectation goes, I just want to go out and do the best I can do. Just go up there and be focused and stick to the process and be all I can be for as hard as these guys work on this machine. So I need to get up on the wheel and get on it.
Well, man, nice rip tonight. We'll see where you end up at the end of the evening, and you get a couple more shots tomorrow. So thanks, Troy.
Thank you, fellas.
Currently sitting in the number 2 spot, we've got Kyle Koretsky down there on the racetrack. We've got a quad ready to push him off the top end. Let's take another look at Dallas Glenn. Now, if you watch this replay, you should be able to see how big his eyes get inside the car.
So all's well as he comes off the starting line, of course, makes a nice clean run, puts himself in the number 1 spot, and then at this moment he realizes, Houston, we have a problem. The biggest and best thing he did here, you can see the hopping begin, but he gets the car settled down enough, and the full suspension on these cars helps more than a nitro car as well, but he was able to get the thing absolutely to calm down enough to get it woed down. Dallas is a very experienced sportsman racer, and he did a brilliant job of not panicking in that race car.
Looked like he actually eased off of the brakes to let the car calm down. When it started hopping down there, let it get itself back under control, and then you can try to get back after it.
Well, how many times have you or I, Alan, seen somebody lock the front brakes up and blow the front tires right out of the car almost immediately? Dallas, we have you on a headset at the top end. Has your heart slowed down yet?
Not yet. Not yet. That one, that was the first time I've had that happen. And being as
Dallas, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
We were missing you. Take us through that. You go past the finish line, everything's fine. You reach it, push your parachute button, and everything's not so fine anymore.
Yeah, I pushed the parachute button, and I could tell pretty quickly I wasn't slowing down. And I've never raced this track before. I don't know how long the shutdown is. I mean, it looks like it's long, but you don't really know it till you make a run. And I started getting on the brakes real hard, and then it just started bouncing. I couldn't get it to calm down. I had to let off the brakes for quite a long time to get it to calm down. And then once I got it calmed down, it slowed way down real nice.
Well, obviously, this being your rookie season, about everything you do is a first-time experience. I'm guessing that's enough of that, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do that anymore, but I feel like I can do a better job if I ever have to do it again. I think I just got on it too aggressive too early.
Just, send one of the guys over to the Goodyear trailer for another set of front runners. You'll be all right.
Yeah, well, hopefully I didn't hurt him too bad, but if I need him, we'll go get him.
Did the chutes get tied up in the wheelie bar, or did they just not deploy?
No, I pushed the button, and they just didn't come out. A more experienced driver may have reached up and tried grabbing the lever, but I was kind of had my hands full there just making sure I didn't screw anything up.
Got her safely stopped. That's the bottom line. Appreciate you taking a little time to chat with us.
All right, thank you.
Dallas Glenn, the most recent first-time winner in Pro Stock. I don't believe we'll be saying that by the end of the year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think there's so much young talent in this category, and there's so much to watch in Pro Stock this year. It's definitely something that we'll be celebrating again for sure.
Matt Hartford and Aaron Stanfield getting ready to roll in here right now. Hartford, the most recent winner on tour, although not a first-time winner on tour.
There are certain marks we always like to hold drivers accountable to, or at least use them as measuring sticks in different categories. And in Pro Stock, we always default back to reaction time. What's the average reaction time of these drivers? Aaron Stanfield has the best average reaction time over the course of this season so far. Over the course of every race we've run, he is averaging an 0.24 light every time he hits the Christmas tree, which is insane.
Got elite power under the hood of that white car down there for Janik Brothers, JC3 Energy. Team Total Seal over in the left side. Matt, now the CEO. I don't know if he shared this with you or if he just shared this with me. That is the drive shaft or the engine RPM and throttle position sensor from the winning run in Houston.
Yes, Matt Hartford sent me that. It is not a pretty picture.
Even Picasso went. That's weird.
Well, I'll tell you, the way that you've actually seen a replay of the final round of Houston several times already in this first qualifying session. It was a tire-shaking affair between Hartford and Derek Kramer.
So Hartford over there on the left side, Eddie Garnaccia, the crew chief on the car. Most recent winner, and Aaron Stanfield, who picked up his first ever Pro Stock win last year in a historic day down in Texas. I think the bigger news with Aaron Stanfield is that somebody finally beat him in the Factory Stock Showdown.
Agree.
Okay, what just happened? 6.545, 210 miles an hour. Aaron Stanfield goes to the top. Matt Hartford goes 6.551, 210.37, and he goes into the number 2 qualifying position. That's what Pro Stock's supposed to look like.
I'll tell you what, no tire shake. Both cars had parachutes. Everybody made it to the finish line under power. Life is pretty good. 60-foot times in that run were about identical, down to the 980 mark. So whatever they did or didn't do or made a last-minute adjustments, Eddie Granacci and the team, they all worked out. That is a fairly long burnout for Eric Anders, likely under instruction from the team. And how about this kid, Mason McGahey?
Yeah, good kid.
Good kid, seemingly unshakable driver. He's a young guy, but the moments have never been too big for him. He is one of these guys that you mentioned, the newest first-time winners. I think some point this year we're talking about Mason in a winner's circle.
Let's talk a little bit about Mason McGahey's rise to Pro Stock. Now, everybody knows it. You know, there's basically stepping stones that you take. So for Mason, it was junior dragster, Pro Stock.
Yeah.
I think Vincent Nobile might be the last guy to do that.
I think you might be right.
Erica had a few more steps out there in the middle, including, of course, the big win in Super Gas in Houston a number of years ago that led to an opportunity to get behind the wheel. But she is now a 4-time champion. Richard, Royce Lee Freeman, the owners of Elite Motorsports, Melling, Gallagher, Transportation Impact. And Erica's got herself a pretty good car this year. I mean, we've talked about, Greg Anderson looks like he's got the best car in the class. Mason McGahey is a lot of people's pick to be the next first-time winner in Pro Stock. He's got a pretty good car, and he's doing an incredible job driving it.
He really is. For a guy who is not old enough to buy a beer for himself yet, he is not over-intimidated by racing people like Eric Anders, and that is a factor in this category. We do see drivers do things differently when they know and take too much time to think about who's in the other lane. Mason has not run into that problem yet.
So a couple of young guns from Texas. Mason McGahey on the left side, the blue Harlow Salmons team, and Erica, the now 4-time champion. Erica drifting a little bit toward the She's staying with it down there to the finish line. 6.538. 210.28, and Mason McGahey goes to number 1. 6.54 for Erica. She stops the clock's 210 miles an hour. And Mason McGahey gets the top spot. Erica gets the number 3 spot.
Mason had 0.02 of a second advantage on the 60-foot time there, 966 to the 986 that Erica had early on, and that translated to what you see there, 100th at the top end of the racetrack. So another great run by young Mason McGahey.
Okay, Loans.
You got Hartford after bonus.
You said that over. Derek Kramer on the left side, Greg Anderson on the right side. Most recent winner on tour at the top end of the racetrack. Hey, Matt, that looked like a little bit better run than the last one you made in Houston.
Yeah, that one in Houston actually was a lot better run, Alan. That turned on a wind light and took home a Wally. So no offense, but that 55 one, we actually we pulled back some even in the lanes. We watched all the cars right ahead of us, no one even leaving the starting line. So Eddie made some good calls there. We probably pulled back maybe a little bit too far, but at the end of the day, we got a really good car. If I can go out there and drive good on Sunday, we got a chance to bring home another trophy.
Well, it sure worked out last week, even though it ended up being such a wacky final round. Let's put it this way. Was that run less of a headache than your last run in Houston?
Oh, that run right there was really nice. It was smooth all the way down through there. That's why it was slow. I mean, you see these 54s popping up. We only went 55. So, no, hats off to all the Total Seal team. They're doing a great job. KI, CIP1, he's not with us this weekend. Quarantine. It's going to be over soon. Sonoma, he's going to be back with us full time, and we need him back here, and we can't wait.
Real quick, how quick can Greg go?
He's going to go probably 53.3.
53.3. Well, he's going to take every bit of that in order to get in front of Mason McGahey. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you taking a minute. Derek Kramer on the left side. Greg Anderson on the right. Greg with the HendrickCars.com. He took a one-race deal and parlayed it into a multi-year, I do believe.
His teammate won Sonoma NASCAR last week. He's got it on his shoulders this week.
Derek shoves the clutch back in, and Greg goes 6.556, 210 miles an hour. Kramer actually had better numbers early in the run, but he didn't get all the way to the stripe. Greg Anderson ends up in the number 6 spot. And how about Mason McGahey?
And listen, tomorrow's going to be fast and nice and everything else, but it's going to be tough to get around a 6:53.8 tomorrow during the daytime. So Mason McGay, I'm not saying it's safe yet, but there's a better than average chance that that kid may start Sunday as the number 1 qualifier.
Well, he's certainly sitting in a pretty good spot right now. Mason, number 1. Aaron Stanfield, number 2. Eric at number 3. Matt Hartford, 4. Dallas Glenn, 5. Greg Anderson, 6. Troy Coughlin, Val Smealand rounding out the quick 8. Alan Prusiensky is going to have a lot of work to do before we see that thing back on the racetrack. Richie Stevens, of course, kicked this thing off, and then we saw a whole lot of shaking and a whole lot of rattling and a couple of shutting offs.
I believe we have Mason McGay at the top end of the racetrack as we teleport ourselves down there. Hey, kid, that was a pretty good run tonight.
Yeah, I guess it was pretty good. We won here down in 18, and I mean we went home and fixed some stuff on the car, and I don't even know what to say right now. I had no idea I was number 1 till everyone was telling me just then, but it was a pretty good run, and just hopefully we can hold on after the 2 runs tomorrow.
How's your grandpa?
He's doing good. He's back at work, and I'm his chauffeur and driving him around at work, and he's ready to get out of the house and get back here with everyone out here.
Yeah, I saw some of that stuff on social media. We certainly miss having Lester being out here with you guys, and look forward to him being back out. So now you know what's going to happen. You're going to have to go over and talk some sense into your dad and straighten him out.
Yeah, we always go back and forth with each other and mess with each other, and I'm going to have to see what I can do, and maybe we get him number 2.
I got to tell you, that kid is the real deal, Brian.
He absolutely is. Mason, have a good night's sleep tonight, brother. You're going to be coming in tomorrow hot, so we'll find out if you can defend yourself and your position tomorrow. Good work.
Yes, thank you.
So Mason McGahey ends up in the number 1 spot. Aaron Stanfield, Erica Enders, your top 3. They got the little points out of that qualifying session, and we'll see obviously more of Pro Stock with a couple of sessions tomorrow. We got a little shuffle going on.